Damn, did I spike the camera? Do you want me to just keep looking up at you?
You're okay. Give me a clap.
At a certain point, I realized I'm obsessed with, I guess, patina, for a lack of a better word. Like, I've always enjoyed things that has a story to it. I have a 1988 BMW 325. Originally owned by my aunt. She bought it in San Diego when she was in the Navy. I learned how to drive stick on that car. And it was sitting in their garage, not doing anything. And I just asked them one time if I could have it, and they were like, please. So a couple years ago, I got it, fixed it up, and now I have it for fun. I collect records. I collect baseball hats. Big baseball fan. And I have my Criterion collection of Blu-rays. I still buy those, which is crazy. I love ties. I kind of always have enjoyed ties. And I don't know how many ties I have, but it's a lot. I at least have probably 15 to 20 Alexander Olsz ties. Running is a weird thing for me. It's been something that's been in my life since I was, 14 years old. I've probably ran once or twice a week for as long as I can remember. If someone else is a runner, you kind of automatically understand something about that person. We just kind of love punishment a little bit, but it's not like you're punishing yourself. You're doing this to feel uncomfortable because there's a reward at the end. Running for me is almost like, I say, re-Tetrises my brain, when life is happening and all the blocks are stacking up and it's getting a little chaotic. When I go and run, I come back and everything kind of fits back into place again, and it all kind of makes sense. My parents were photographers, so I always grew up, they always had a camera around. They would always just kind of casually have the camera and taking photos, and it was just kind of normal. So when I grew up, that was just something I did naturally. I used to document my life, I feel like, a lot more. I loved filming things, and then I would get new cameras and I would want to document and practice with them, and then it turned into, I loved having things captured and memories, and it's kind of a way to chapter your life. If I can document it, it's another way of remembering something. So yeah, I end up filming and photographing a lot of my life. My first kind of love for art and all that definitely was music. Music was the first thing that I was just emotionally, instantly affected by. And then when I started picking up a video camera, I could then take music that was such an emotional pull for me and then put that to a visual medium, and it was like addictive. I went to college originally to do TCOM and film, and I don't know, I was kind of not really into it. Because of the technology, I couldn't make stuff look the way I wanted because we're all shooting on camcorders. So I was like, I'm gonna be a teacher. So I actually have a math degree, and I was a teacher for Indianapolis Public Schools for 3 years. Math is like Spanish. I always say that if you don't practice it, it's like gone. When I was a teacher, the 5D came out, so my parents actually let me borrow that, and so I started filming things, and they actually looked the way I would want things to look. The love for filmmaking kind of stuck back, and at the time, I was living right behind this bar I would go to, which had a ton of history, but I knew nothing about, which was the Chatterbox. So I worked on the Chatterbox documentary for about 2 years, on and off, and I just kind of fell in love with this little hole in the wall. It was such a cool experience getting to know this little community that was built around it, whether that was jazz musicians or artists or just, weirdos that like the Chatterbox. I fell in love with the space and the home it created. During that time, I started thinking, Indianapolis didn't really have a home for filmmakers and film lovers, we didn't have an art house cinema like other cities. I thought, why can't Indianapolis have that same place for filmmakers, cinema lovers, just a home base for all things film? We started a roving cinema club called Public House Cinema, where we would show independent films at places around town, but the main goal was to drum up efforts into creating an actual brick and mortar art house cinema. Through Public House Cinema, we met Tom and Ed Batista and their partner Sam Sutphin, who were actually working on a very similar idea for an art house cinema in our town. So we joined forces, and then that ultimately led to the Can-Can. The Can-Can name comes from a Kurt Vonnegut novel, Cat's Cradle, where it mentions the can-can, which is the instrument in which you find your karass. So your karass is your cosmically linked individuals that will affect your life. And we thought, we want to be that place. The cinema wants to be that place that you find your tribe, your crew. The goal of the Can-Can was always to be a home and a third place for filmmakers, film lovers, anyone that appreciates movies. I can pinpoint watching certain movies in my life that have really changed my thinking. You know, not many things in life I can say that about, but movies have literally changed how I think about or how I experience things. I never planned on sticking around, but Indianapolis is like oddly magnetic. One thing I've thought about that someone told me that I'll never forget is Indianapolis has never had a golden age. There's never been a time where people are kind of trying to go back to. I feel like Indianapolis has always been growing, and Indianapolis' best time is right now.